Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. It is the ML Sports Platter. Super pumped up to have you back via IGTV, YouTube, and of course, Facebook. And of course, you can download my podcast as well, the ML Sports Platter, across iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play Music. As I've had some pretty good interviews lately, Mike Harrington and a bunch more. Mike Harrington talking Sabres, talking some Major League Baseball. I'm going to have a bunch more tomorrow as I record this video. In fact, I'm going to have Jorge Castillo on from the Washington Post, talk about the Nationals and Bryce Harper second half. We're going to get together with MLB.com's Anthony Castrovins and Matthew Fairburn to preview these guys. Of course, he moved on to the Athletic Buffalo, and that's where I begin with this video, which is brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College and Ed Conroy at Used Car King in Cortland. Make sure you do go and follow Ed all over social media. He's got deals left and right, SUVs, vans, cars, the whole nine. He's got them coming in. He's sending them out. Ed Conroy, Used Car King in Cortland. We're also brought to you by the Phoenix Sports Restaurant. Place your bets all horse racing season long during Saratoga, 6 days a week, right there on your phone and in person with just the waiting on the line and all that. You can do it either way. They've got great food specials, $12 mix and match buckets as well for beer at the Phoenix Sports Restaurant. All right, my video today centers on the Buffalo Bills coming off of last year's 2017 playoff berth. I'm looking at a few storylines in training camp this year, which will again be at St. John Fisher College in Pittsford, which is just near Rochester. Number one, obviously, we don't know as the investigation continues what's going to happen with one Shady McCoy. This is a very, very shady situation for LeSean McCoy. We know that a friend of his significant other posted a bunch of just gruesome pictures and blamed LeSean McCoy for that, blamed him for abusing his son, blamed him for abusing a dog, blamed him for taking steroids, blamed him for other things. And right now we just don't know. Could there be some kind of in-between thing that's missing? Perhaps. Did LeSean McCoy do it? I don't know. I wasn't there. Could it be a situation where a friend ran to Instagram and maybe somebody in that camp hired someone to hurt LeSean McCoy's significant other? Either way, this is a serious deal. It's violence. It's bad. It's a woman. This is not tolerated in the NFL. We'll have to see what happens. Now, again, I say not tolerated, but then eventually Adrian Peterson gets back after shoving a switchblade down his son's throat. You've had Greg Hardy, of course, who has been in a bunch of domestic situations. Not tolerated based on what the doctrine says, but we know that eventually a lot of NFL GMs, a lot of owners, they kind of turn away a little bit and give a guy another chance. I don't know if LeSean McCoy did this. This is under investigation, but this is a serious deal from a football standpoint as well, because look, LeSean McCoy is the best player for the Buffalo Bills. How will the Buffalo Bills be offensively? Well, a lot of it, of course, comes down to LeSean McCoy, and he's going to help out the quarterback, whoever that might be, which brings me to number two, the quarterback position. To me, yes, A.J. McCarron, no question, right now is the leader of the pack. He will probably start week one, but you've got to get through training camp. And I'm telling you right now, from the video I've seen, and I understand it's not in pads against the defense and trying to avoid a rush, etc., reading blitzes and all the rest, Josh Allen's arm and Josh Allen with the keys to the Buffalo Kingdom, it is going to be awfully difficult, in my opinion, to keep that guy on the sidelines. You drafted Josh Allen for a reason. I know a lot of times there are so many people who get drafted out of college, and it's immediate throw them into the wolves. You don't have a lot of help around him, and the quarterback loses confidence, throws a bunch of interceptions, has a total shit season, and then the next thing you know, they just can't get back on the up and up, and there's a franchise, there's just not a dynamic there for that specific franchise. Right now, you hope as a Bills fan, the Bills are not one of those franchises anymore. Trust the process, okay? Now, yes, people like Colin Cowherd will tell you, why do people say trust the process? It's because there is no real plan. There is no anything. Well, Herd, in this case, you're wrong, because Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott both appear to be much different than all the other clowns the Bills have had as general managers and head coaches. So, the quarterback position, you gotta pay attention to this all training camp long, because I think there's a huge chance that Josh Allen could win the job in training camp. Another Buffalo Bills storyline for me is the offense with the new coordinator in terms of Brian Daboll. Here is a guy who comes from the Nick Saban coaching tree, Alabama, national championships. He knows pro style. What are the Buffalo Bills going to do? I think one of the big things they've got to do, of course, if Josh Allen, especially as the quarterback, they've got to utilize the tight end a lot more. You've got to be able to get the tight end the football. Very, very good chain extenders and all the rest. That's going to be a storyline to watch as well. What kind of offense will the Buffalo Bills run? And frankly, what kind of offense are they going to run based on the quarterback? Does Brian Daboll have an offense in place for McCarron? Does he have a different one in place for Josh Allen? Josh Allen throws maybe a deeper ball with less accuracy. How's that going to work into that? Now, another storyline for me for sure is going to be, the Buffalo Bills secondary. I am looking forward to seeing if this secondary is as good as it was last year. Remember what they did last year, getting interceptions. The tackling was unbelievable. Remember the Micah Hyde signing was one of the best in the National Football League. I am really looking forward to seeing what this defensive backfield does for the Bills. Micah Hyde comes from the Packers, had a really good year last year. You've got a lot of good players back there in the secondary who I think could have big years for the Buffalo Bills. And remember, Gaines and some of these other players are trying to make their mark. Remember, with Ronald Darby no longer in town, we saw that a lot last year. I cannot wait to see what this team has to offer in the secondary. Obviously, another trait. Tre'Davious White had an unbelievable year. There's just a lot of great storylines in that secondary that I'm looking forward to watching. One of the best defensive back units last year in the NFL. Another storyline for me is going to be who Josh Allen, of course, is going to throw the ball to. Is this wide receiver core ready to take the next step? They've got to have the Zay Joneses and the Kelvin Benjamins have big-time years. Kelvin Benjamin was a really good player for Carolina. The Bills got him, showed the fan base that maybe they're moving a little bit and it's not going to be a tank job and all the rest. Well, Kelvin Benjamin can't stay on the field. Is he the new Sammy Watkins? I mean, this guy has got to take the next step. These receivers have to take the next step in order for anybody to succeed at the wide receiver position. Zay Jones had a lot of drops last year. He started to mentally get a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. But the wide receiver position, coupled with the tight ends, who I think need to be used a lot more. Remember Tyrod Taylor? He was a guy who had so many problems as a quarterback, a lot of deficiencies. How do you mask those deficiencies? You get him out of the pocket where he's more comfortable as a hybrid. Now you've got pocket quarterbacks. Now you've got to design your offenses. Again, back to Brian Daboll. You've got to figure out a way to get these guys the ball, how your quarterbacks feel comfortable. But there's got to be protection. The quarterback in the NFL, no question, when you look at it, one of the big problems is we give them too much credit and we also give them too much blame in wins and losses respectively. Another big thing to look at for this Bills team is an offensive line and leadership and all that. There's a lot of guys who aren't there anymore. Cordy Glenn, injury problems and all the rest. He's in Cincinnati. Big money, always hurt, but was still a fixture and pretty good when he was healthy. Now what? Now you've got the situation with Eric Wood, premature retirement. There's a lot of offensive line pieces there that have to gel. Training camp's going to be crucial for so many units. I think it's going to be most important for the offensive line to figure out what's going on. It looks like Deion Dawkins, remember, out of Temple from a couple years ago in the NFL draft, could be a cornerstone guy. You might be able to move him around from the left to the right and vice versa. So the Buffalo Bills right now, this is an exciting time. Hey, they made the playoffs last year. They had a great draft. You're looking at guys, Josh Allen and all the rest. I thought deep into the draft, this team really figured it out. They knew when to stand pat, when to trade up, when to trade down, and keep an eye on the linebacker out of Virginia Tech, 6'5", 250 pounds, Tremaine Edmonds. That guy is a stud. I saw him play a ton in the ACC. I think he might end up being the Bills' best draft pick, although we all want, if you're a Bills fan, of course, Josh Allen to be the best because it is a quarterback-driven league. Can't wait. Training camp, just days away. Buffalo Bills in Pittsburgh, hoping to go myself. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. Mike L Sports 1979, Snapchat and Instagram, all across the board. You can hit me. And, of course, this is IGTV, Facebook Live, and YouTube for the ML Sports Platter. 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley video here, brought to you by our friends at Welch & Company Jewelers, the Allen Angus Pub, your State Farm agent, Matt Graham, and our good buddies at Timberbanks Golf Club, the official golf course of the ML Sports Platter. Visit timberbanks.com. Thanks for watching. Go Bills. And as I always tell you, enjoy the games.